So I'd like to begin today with welcoming all the congressmen and speaker and everyone and the members of government here to debate this issue. And so I'd like to begin this discussion of this $5,000 tax-free, or not quite $5,000, this tax-free reparation to those who are the blacks as defined by the government. My first point to make is that this reparation is almost in a way to make up for the slavery and the discrimination against blacks, but it's also its own reverse discrimination. After discriminating against blacks for so long, from slavery to from segregation, from all that, we're now discriminating against all the other minorities. We are saying, we're sorry for what we did to blacks, we need to give them a handout. So what about all the other minorities? Hispanics, Latinos, Asians. At some point, all of them have had their own troubles in our society. Now we're saying what we did to the blacks back then is this giant mistake that we need to make up for it now, yet all these other groups which have been somehow hurt by this way our society works, we just kind of brush them off to the side and only give this one group a chance to give this one group an apology and this reparation. It's just another way of discriminating hidden beneath this fancy way of making repayment for the slavery. And the other problem is, how do we are defining these black people that need them? It was said that they would get a certain amount based on the percentile, based on genetics and heritage, but are we just giving every African American in the country a handout, or do we need them to prove that they've had ancestors who were either slavery or that they were here during the time of segregation? The people now may have moved here quite recently. They might have come from another country and come here recently and avoided all of these major issues that we're trying to make these repayments for and reparations. So they would be basically receiving a handout for, hey, you moved to this country after we did all these problems, you can have it too. And then also, if we are just giving handouts for making reparations for slavery and such, how do they prove that that their ancestors were even enslaved? Some families may have some records, some diaries, papers that might be able to prove it. But for those select few, they got lucky. The rest, do they have to prove that they have some sort of lineage that was unburdened in such a way that we need to make up for it? Or are we just saying, no matter what your situation is, you deserve this money. Whether or not you were treated badly or your ancestors were hurt, you need this money because you are who you are and our past has brought you to who you are today. And then there's also the fairness for this. They did say that depending on your level of your lineage, you do get different amounts of money, but what if you suffered different amounts? Certain people may have, depending on the region in the country or their exact color, they might have been discriminated against less. They might have had a better standing in society. Are we saying that no matter how you were hurt in the past or how your ancestors were hurt, everyone gets the same amount? Does it make more sense to give it based on what percentage of African American or black history is? Or should it be, if you suffered more, we repay you more? It's almost as if you're saying, no matter how much you were hurt, it doesn't matter if you were like enslaved or if you were just discriminated once or twice. If you're 100% black and your past has been constantly there, you are worthy of more reparation. And one of the biggest points is, how many of these people really want this reparation? It's almost as if it's a handout for them. As was said by the Prime Minister, that blacks in their society have been discriminated against. There's this unbalance in society that has caused them to be most likely in most areas more impoverished, possibly less educated, and so basically we're making up for this segregation and discrimination by giving them a handout, and I don't think that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for your pity. They're not looking for some sort of repayment for what we did. It's almost a patronizing, condescending act to be giving them this money. We're just kind of breezing over the problem of what segregation has caused for them, and by giving them this money. we're saying that we're sorry you might have been uneducated. We're sorry you are now poor. We'll give you this small amount of money, thank you, to make up for what we've done, yet we're still not going to improve your actual conditions. You have this small handout that can help you for a short period of time, but we aren't fixing what their original problem is. We aren't helping them get a better education. We aren't helping them get a better job. We aren't ending the discrimination of employers and all that to help them fix that. So basically, this reparation for all we've done in the past is basically just hitting them now for what our mistakes in the past have done for them today. We aren't making their lives any better. And if they do receive this money, who are we apologizing to? We're apologizing today to those who have the result of what we did to those in the past. We aren't forgiving those ancestors, those back during the times of slavery, those during the times of segregation, who lived during this oppression. We never got a chance to apologize to them. So now you're saying, since we wronged them in the past, and we've been hurting them up until now, those today who might have had less suffering than those of their ancestors deserve this money. We're apologizing to the wrong people. It's almost like the money is almost a meaningless gesture. And for the practicality of this measure, thank you. In America, there's roughly a percentage of 13 to 15% of African Americans. And if you're saying to give anywhere between $100,000 and $10,000 to this approximately 45 million people, citizens of this country, that's going to be well over $1 billion, quite possibly higher. It's almost impractical to be giving all this money out to these people who don't necessarily want it, or may in some cases not even need it. Thank you. Basically what's happening now is we're trying to give this handout to those who might not even need it. We're giving it to those who sometimes might not even not deserve it. But we're giving it possibly to the wrong people at the wrong time and for the wrong reasons. We aren't helping them out by giving them this small amount of money. We're almost patronizing them. They might not want this handout. We have to figure out what they give them this money to help them along in their way to hopefully make up for this error in the past. So I'd like for Congress and the rest and the Speaker to think about this and truly see just the reasons that this plan isn't really the best idea.